What's up everybody, it's Colin here, and in my Facebook group I got the question, what would be the desired ROI for a sweepstake campaign for social paid traffic? And that's a very interesting question which I'm going to answer in detail in this video. So I'm going over 3 slides in this video which will give you almost the perfect answer, because to be honest there is no perfect answer, but at least I will give you some guidelines you can follow to make sure you are getting the highest ROI possible for sweepstakes on social PPC. So when we look at the desired return on investment, we have to take into consideration the cost first, because everybody is looking for ROI in profit, but profit meaning the ROI is basically an estimate of the profits against basically your revenue against your cost, right? So that's why we're looking at the cost first. And for a CPA business, the cost usually consists of the following 3 factors. Your ad spend, which is usually the biggest portion of your cost. Then the software and tools. So you need at least one software for your bridge page. Other tools you might use, if any at all. And then obviously your employees, the wages you pay. If you don't have any employees, you need to pay yourself something for the work you do. So that would account to the wage you pay out. When we look at the actual setup, so the metrics we have to take into consideration, and this will also show why tracking software is so important, we go back to the original flow, which is basically you got the ad, you got the bridge page, and you have the offer. Well, to increase the ROI, there are 3 variables which you could work on. Basically, the cost per click, that's what you have for the ad level, the click-through rate for the bridge page, and it will, in the end, detail the earnings per click on the offer. So those are the 3 variables. You can increase the total ROI by decreasing the cost per click, meaning the click-through rate will be the same, and the earnings per click will be higher because you paid less for each click. The earnings per click might stay the same, but the ROI will be higher because you paid less per click, yeah. So another metric is if the CPC stays the same, you just increase the click-through rate. That will mean that more people actually see the offer. So is the conversion rate, which is actually the metric here. I did it wrong. It's not EPC. EPC is here, and the conversion rate is for the offer. However, we don't control the conversion rate, but you can control the click-through rate by asking more relevant questions, making a better lander, all those things. How would you increase the conversion rate if you don't own the lander for the offer? Well, it's a very difficult question to answer, but just to keep it simple, is if you question them with more relevant questions on the bridge page, the click-through rate might be higher and the conversion rate. So instead of asking which country are you from, you can ask something specific to the offer. So if it's a grocery campaign, you can ask, where do you like to buy your groceries? And then you give them 4 options. How much money do you spend on groceries? These kind of questions which prep them for the offer. So even if you don't have full control over the offer page, you can still prep them for the conversion. That way increase CR, conversion rate, and increase your total EPC. So basically to calculate the return on investment, all you do is subtract the CPC from the EPC to get, and then obviously all operating expenses as well, to get your total return. An interesting question, which is probably there are no stupid questions, but one of the most stupid questions to ask is, what kind of CPC do you run on Instagram stories? What kind of CPC do you run on Facebook newsfeed? Those are questions I cannot answer because it's dependent on so many variables, and I listed out a couple here. It depends on the country. It's a huge factor. If I run ads in the United States or I run them in the UK, it's already very, very different. It depends on the actual offer. It depends on, is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it Snapchat? And it really depends on the targeting. Obviously, if you are targeting audiences which other ad buyers are also targeting, the CPM, the cost per 1,000 impressions, will be higher, meaning the CPC will be higher. Your potential ROI might be less because of it, or not. But those are questions regarding the ROI, like what are the costs for this? How much money can I make? I don't know. Like, you just have to try it. And because there are so many variables in the process, like if you give me the geo, the offer, the platform, the targeting, your ads, the bridge page, the actual offer, if I have all the details and I can see the entire overview, then I can give you an estimate. But I don't know what the market is doing today or tomorrow. For instance, not too long ago, it was Christmas. People behaved very different regarding ads than after Christmas. It's an expensive period. So if you run sweepstakes on social during Christmas, people have already spent money the 2 weeks before Christmas. So they don't want to buy products that much. You can still make lots of money selling products, but they are more eager to opt into free stuff. So to answer this question, what is the desired ROI for social PPC? For my agency, it is a minimum return of 30%. Our average is probably between 80 to 120% ROI. However, any campaign which doesn't give us 30% ROI or more is killed, meaning we pause that campaign. Why? Because if it goes below 30% ROI, it might still be profitable. However, it just drains our cash flow. And in the CPA business, cash flow is one of the most important metrics there is for your business, because if you don't have the money, you cannot spend the money, you cannot make more money. So if I have to wait 1 week, because I'm on weekly payments with almost all of the operations I work with, so let's say weekly net 3, I get the money in 3 days after the week finishes. In those 3 days, let's say you do 100% ROI, you basically make a lot more money than if you will make 10% ROI. And that is 3 days times 52 weeks. That's 150 days, basically, that you are losing potential money, which could have been more. It's quite difficult to understand, but it's not the money you have gained, but you're losing out on the potential. So that's why I designed the 30% as a golden rule. I did not make that up myself. That's actually something I took from somebody else as a good metric to work on, and it has worked really well for us. So I would say a minimum of 30%, but if you have enough cash, or you're just starting out, basically anything that is profitable, I would stick to. That would be good. But if you're running large numbers or larger numbers, between like at least 5 figures, maybe 6 figures per month, I would put in place a proper metric. Because once you start running, if you're a beginner and you have moved into the stage where you make 5 figures a month, then probably you will have some cash flow issues in the long term if you want to scale into the multiple 5 figures or even 6 figures per month. So I would take that into consideration. If you have any other questions regarding this, please join me in my Facebook group where you can ask all the questions, and I'll be happy to make a video about it here on YouTube where you can consume the content. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, because these questions I think are fairly basic, but they are so important to be answered, and there's almost no content right now. So I cannot think of all the questions you guys might have, but I'm actually very willing to answer them all if you provide me with the questions. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys found this useful, and I will see you guys in the next video.